Was Anthony Joshua, the former heavyweight boxing champion of the world, hypnotised before he fought Andy Ruiz Jr.? Let's see. Hello, welcome. My name is James Taylor. I'm a hypnotherapist, a counsellor and a life coach from number 1 Harley Street in London. This video is slightly different to my normal YouTube content, and it's to ask the question, was Anthony Joshua, the former heavyweight champion of the world, was he hypnotised before he fought Andy Ruiz Jr., who beat him in that fight? Now, I'm going to expand a little bit, and I've been sitting on the fence a little bit before making this video because I've been getting sources or information from lots of different sources. Now, when I say hypnotised, I don't mean in the stereotypical kind of way where someone is sitting in a chair, a hypnotherapist is helping a client, or maybe the old-fashioned Hollywood way of someone swinging a watch and someone else in the front of someone's face. I don't mean that kind of hypnosis or that kind of trance state. I mean with the psychology and the build-up leading up to the fight and then the fight itself. So I'm going to show a few images on the screen. The first image, this is, for those who are not boxing fans, this is Anthony Joshua, and you can see that he's a fine specimen of a man. He is incredibly fit, incredibly strong, he's tall, he's good looking, he's a very, very good boxer. Now this is him during one of his fights. Now here is a picture of Andy Ruiz at the press conference with Anthony Joshua. Andy Ruiz Jr. is an American Mexican, and looking at the two of them, you can see one looks incredibly in shape and one doesn't. Okay. Now Andy Ruiz Jr., and this is how looks can be deceiving, and don't judge a book by its cover. Andy Ruiz Jr. beat Anthony Joshua. And there's been lots of speculation on the internet as to how this could have happened, when Anthony Joshua looks one way and Andy Ruiz Jr. looks the other way. And when you look at the psychology around this, and this is where I think the hypnosis, if you like, took place with Anthony Joshua, I think he beat Joshua before the fight started. And I'll give a few examples of how I think he did it. A little bit of background story to this. Anthony Joshua was due to fight another fighter, but that fighter failed drug testing and was banned from the fight. So the fight didn't take place. So with 5 weeks notice, Andy Ruiz Jr. was put in place. Now he had a draw against the fighter that Anthony Joshua had already beaten in 12 rounds. So this was the backstory, if you like. Now during the build up to the fight, and especially during the press conference, Andy Ruiz did something which I don't know whether it was intentional, or I don't know whether it was just an accidental spur of the moment kind of thing. But one of the things that he did, he asked Anthony Joshua, "Can I hold your belts?" And Anthony Joshua let him, which I think was a huge mistake, because he was letting the challenger hold the championship belts. Now there's two bits of psychology going on here. There's the one with Anthony Joshua, and then there's the other one with Anthony Ruiz Jr. Personally, I think by letting Andy Ruiz Jr. hold the belts, not only was he able to see and visualize himself winning the fight, but now he was actually able to physically touch the belts that allowed him to win the fight. The fight is very, very good. It's worth checking out. Anthony Joshua knocked down Andy Ruiz in the 3rd round. And when you see that knockdown, it's a fantastic knockdown. And when you see that knockdown, you can see almost on the face of Andy Ruiz Jr., I'm getting up, and now you're going to get it. And he did. He knocked down Anthony Joshua twice in that 3rd round. Now, there's lots of speculation that Anthony Joshua suffered a panic attack. There was an injury. He had concussion from when he was on the build-up to the fight. They've all been denied. But I think what happened was, not only was Anthony Joshua surprised at the aggression by Andy Ruiz Jr., before the fight had even started, I think he'd lost it. He did look very anxious walking into the fight. He didn't look as comfortable as he normally does, and I think he was very surprised at the aggression of Andy Ruiz Jr. getting off the canvas and basically beating him up for the rest of the third round. There's also, I suspect, an element of concussion that Anthony Joshua was suffering as a result of them 2 knockdowns in the third round. As the fight continued, the fight concluded in the 7th round when Andy Ruiz Jr. knocked down Anthony Joshua again twice in the 7th, and then the referee called an end to that. Anthony Joshua lost all his belts. Don't know what he's going to do with his future, who his next opponent is going to be, whether it's a rematch with Andy Ruiz Jr. or not. But now he's got the belts. And there's been lots of speculation on the news about what Andy Ruiz Jr. is now going to do. Is the rematch clause going to come in? And should Anthony Joshua take him on? And if he were to lose that next fight, if he did take that fight on, if he lost it, where would he go from here? Now, the reason I think Anthony Joshua was hypnotised before the fight is because of all the build-up. Now, when you think about what fighters do, there's a lot of trash talking, there's a lot of psychology really behind it. Who can get the best over the other one before they even step in the ring? Now, the master of this was Muhammad Ali, and he used to tell everyone, I am the greatest. Now, back when he was saying that, of course, there was a lot more racism in the world. I'm glad that's less now, but there's a lot more racism in the world then. So for a black man to be saying, I am the greatest, used to upset a lot of white people. But what he would do is he would say it so much that he would get into the head of the other fighter. I'm fighting the greatest. How can I beat the greatest? That's not possible. So before they even got into the ring, they were mentally defeated. And of course, I mentioned on one of my other videos, what you think affects how you feel. And how you feel affects how you behave. And it goes to them 3 stages: think, feel, behave. So getting back to Anthony Joshua, I believe he was thinking, I don't know what's going on here. How is this little fat guy, as how he's being described, how has he beat me up? And there's quite a few episodes within the fight where Anthony Joshua, in between rounds, is talking to his cornerman, and he's saying, why do I feel like this? And I think the reason he is baffled by this is because he's been hypnotised before the fight, almost like a post-hypnotic suggestion, where a program is playing within himself, and consciously he can make no sense of it whatsoever, and he actually doesn't know why he feels like that. I think that might be an element of concussion in there as well. But you can, when you watch the fight, he is asking his corner, why do I feel like this? And his corner didn't really have an answer for him and weren't able to bring him back into the fight, which would be extremely difficult if he was suffering concussion as well. Now, one of the other good trash talkers at the moment is a guy called Tyson Fury. He's the lineal heavyweight champion of the world. And what that means is he beat the man who beat the man. He isn't a title holder with any belts at the moment, but he is the lineal heavyweight champion of the world. So now there's a few things going on. Does Tyson Fury fight Anthony Joshua? Does he need to if Anthony Joshua hasn't got the belts? Does Anthony Joshua have a rematch with Andy Ruiz Jr? So there's a lot of psychology going on, but I think Anthony Joshua was hypnotised before that fight. I think that's why that program was running at an unconscious level to him. Before he walked into the ring, he looked extremely anxious walking into the ring. He was chewing a lot on his gum shield. When he got knocked down, his eyes, he just didn't look like he wanted to be there, really. And I think it's because there was an unconscious program going on that he consciously could make no sense of, just like a post-hypnotic suggestion. So, a bit of a strange topic, a bit topical at the moment for my YouTube channel. I hope you like this video. Please leave comments below whether you think Anthony Joshua was hypnotised or not, whether you think there was another reason why he lost that fight, why you think Andy Ruiz did win the fight, or any thoughts you may have on this yourself. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and you'll see tabs coming up somewhere within this video perhaps, or in the description below, of my channel, my Facebook, all my social media. Come over and say hi. It'll be nice to be friends on there. And I will see you soon. I've got a few things in the pipeline. I'm keeping them under wraps at the moment, but there's a few changes happening at the moment which I'm really quite excited about. I will reveal all as soon as it's the right time and the right place. But until then, my name is James Taylor. My best wishes to you. Bye bye.